Greetings and salutations. Tonight I shall stream for you the rough draft of the Rysyng Tyde. Hold on to your butts. Hold on to your booty.
The Rysyng Tyde theme song. The tide will rise to lift your spirits high. With this power, I promise you will never die. Are you ready and willing to take on this task? Then come on, my friends, and fill up your flask. This is a whale of a tale to tell. He stole the fire from the pits of hell. He's a mighty beast who can eat a feast. He's Ferret Vaten, the man whale. He has a shell harder than a crab. Your blade will break if you take a stab. There is no telling with his black eyes. The biggest man, he's twice his size. He's from a land down under the sea, bold and strong and handsome is he. He has no hair, and he does not care. He will thrill you thoroughly. The happy ending to this story may be sick and a bit gory. Though have no fear, my little dear. We did it all for the glory. Chapter 1, Adrift. Ferret Vaten piloted the Golden Syndicate's mission plane, the Vorcom jet, over the Pacific Ocean. He looked below him through the impenetrable high-pro-glass windows. He could see the rolling clouds, every moment catching glimpses of the ocean below. They had been traveling for roughly 5 hours. Their destination, the Mariana Trench, Japan, seeking the Hydro Empire. Ferret reflected back to his meeting with Master Neo. The Hydro Empire has chosen you as the host vessel to pilot it. You have been picked from billions of people to be the water warrior of the Golden Syndicate. Though the Empire is not just a weapon or an artifact of power, it is a living biomechanical android with its own consciousness. Once you don this spirit armor, it will syncopate to your biological rhythms. You will become symbiotic champions of the light. Master Neo put his slender fingertips to his lips. Mude was high elf by birth. The stories claimed that he was an immortal messiah. Ferret had not even believed in Neo before he had seen him with his own eyes before the rest of the group. Even now, as Neo spoke, he had another otherworldly and mystical nature to his words and manners. However, even the shadow forces assemble to thwart our efforts to restore balance. Make no mistake, now that we have acquired the Earth Empire, Hurricane and his Legion of Darkness will make every move to kill the Golden Syndicate and capture the Empires. Ferret thought of all that had happened to him, remembering his escape from Alcatraz, J-Park coming to his rescue. Until that moment, Ferret had been a prisoner with a life sentence. Afterwards, he discovered his destiny to be an elite warrior in the war against the Repticons. Why am I the chosen one? What makes me so special? Ferret asked cautiously. Needham answered with his reassuring grace and non-attachment. You were chosen to fulfill this task before you were birthed into this world. Every moment of your life has prepared you and shaped you for this task. Ferret's mind returned to the present moment. Sabrina Masu, the high elf holy paladin healer trained by Neo himself to lead their crew, entered the cockpit from behind him. She flicked a few overhead switches and studied some readouts, taking a seat in the co-pilot chair. Not much longer until we crossed the Pacific Ocean. Ferret was seated at the helm of the ship and Sabria was riding shotgun. Japar and Bantam were goofing around in the back seats, while Talabar was in deep meditation. Bantam, watch this, Japar said with a giggle. He took a feather from his hair and turned invisible with the cloaking device on his wristwatch, then slowly edged the feather towards Calabar's nose. Calabar's eyes were closed, and before the feather reached his snout, it caught fire. Japar quickly stomped out the flame. Whoa, you're good, mate. There's no shaking you. Just because I don't see you doesn't mean I can't sense you. Don't ever interrupt my transcendental meditation or you will suffer dire consequences. I could have caught your whole body on fire as a defense mechanism. Well, thank me alone you didn't. I don't think I'd have much success with the ladies if I had third-degree burns all over my body. Maidens can be so shallow. I'm one to talk, though. I'm pretty shallow myself. A prize catch like me can't be seen with a frumpy frump. Calabar cut him off. Has anyone ever told you you talk too much? I can't help it if I'm so interesting, and I have a lot of global bohemian wisdom to share with the world. Am I right, or am I right, Bantam? He nudged Bantam, and they both snickered together. Oh, I love when we practice laughter yoga, brother. It keeps us youthful and fit. Bantam chuckled. Sabria looked back and said sternly, You're both over 100 now. You should have reached mental maturity. You should leave childish games behind. Not if you want to be forever a young pig like the Rajinator. Japar said. The key to eternal youth is playing like you're still one. That's the reason people have younglings, so they have an excuse to act like them. I believe it was the late great William Hicks that said kids are the smartest people on the planet. I don't know one kid that has a job in kids. Bantam said. Spoken like a true Bilbo. Prime creator rest William Hicks zombie bones. The Repticons took him out for speaking infinite wisdom and truth to Alkayans. We will be the ones who avenge his death. All of a sudden a red dot flashed on the Vorcon screen. We've got 5 bogies on our tail. Ferric shouted. Bantam hop in the turret. You got it, Big Blue. Bantam went to the back of the Vorcon jet and hopped in the turret. It rose up and locked him into place. They're coming in hotter than boiling water. He shouted. There were 5 of the America's top fighter drones closing in on their Vorcon. They were flying in a V formation, then the outside jets flew closer and surrounded the Vorcom and began firing a volley of bullets. Ferric took evasive action and rose straight up, dodging the attack. Hold on, everyone. Ferric bellowed. He pulled hard back on the controls and did a loop with the Vorcom jet, landing the crew right behind one of their assailants. Bantam immediately gunned it down with his razor-sharp aim. It spiraled down and disappeared beneath the clouds. 1 down, 4 to go. Bantam shouted. Ferric flew in a serpentine pattern, but it was impossible to shake the 4 remaining drones. They focused their fire on the Vorcom, and it was impossible to dodge. The lead drone launched a heat-seeking missile, and it exploded on the left wing of the Vorcom, and they spiraled out of control. Ferric tried to remain level, but there was nothing he could do. We're going down, guys. Hold on. He bellowed. The water came rushing up to meet them. Brace for impact. The Vorcom hit the surface of the water like a ton of bricks. Thankfully, they were all strapped, and so no one was seriously injured. Everyone, we have to get out now before they loop around and hit us again. Ferric shouted. The crew scrambled out into the open water and began swimming away from the crumpled Vorcom jet. Just as Ferric predicted, the drones looped around and launched a missile at their dilapidated vessel. Everybody dived down. The missile struck the Vorcom and exploded, sending a fireball into the sky. Shrapnel and debris launched outward. Thankfully, no one was struck because Sabria had formed a holy bubble force field around them. They remained safely underwater in the bubble till it ran out of oxygen, then they had to resurface. When they reached the surface, there was no sign of the enemy drones. Who were those guys? Bantam asked puzzlingly. No doubt they were unmanned drones being operated by an aircraft carrier somewhere close to our proximity. Ferric replied. Let's try and piece some debris together for the lady to float on, as he gestured at Sabria. Thank you, Ferric. Plate armor is not easy to swim in. They grabbed what was left of the chairs and strung them together with some wiring. Sabria was able to sit on top of the makeshift raft, while the 4 Imperial hosts held onto the edge as they tread water. How long do you think it will be before we're rescued? Calabar asked. I already sent out a distress signal to Kinetica, so who knows how long before they respond. J-Par answered. Hopefully not too long. I don't want my fingers getting all pruny. Bantam said. Well, good thing we have Ferric to protect us from any sea monsters that may try to trifle with us, Sabrina said. Oh my goodness, you spoke too soon. There's a shark fin. Bantam exclaimed. Ferric slammed down and let out a fierce piercing bellow. The shark quickly retreated. Sharks are nothing. It's shark men you have to be afraid of. They're always looking to pick a fight, Ferric said. Hour passed as our team was baking in the hot sun. Needham was unable to teleport them because they had to be touching solid ground. There was nothing but blue water as far as the eye could see. I'm sorry I let the team down. I should have been able to outmaneuver those drones, Ferric said solemnly. Don't beat yourself up about it, Blue. We were merely overwhelmed and outgunned. They need to design a Vorcom with better defenses. Do you see that Bantam? J-Par asked. He pointed off to a dot on the horizon. Bantam looked through the scope of his rifle, then started to laugh in excitement. We're saved. It seems to be an all-female cruise ship. Calabar sent off a flare. Bantam said. Calabar pointed his staff in the sky and shot the fireball straight up about 100 yards high. It trailed down and landed in the water 50 yards away from them. Minutes later, they heard a cruise ship horn ring out across the water. Yes, they spotted us and are heading our direction. Oh my, I can't wait to hit the buffet, Ferric said. I can't wait to make the ladies swoon when we sing karaoke Bantam, J-Par said with a smile. Yes, that will be delightful. I can't wait for the room service, if you know what I mean, Bantam said with a wink. I can't wait for a hot shower. I'm sick of being salty, Sabria said in a perturbed manner. I can't wait to be dry again, Calabar said soggily. About 20 minutes later, the cruise ship was right on top of their makeshift raft. They lowered a life raft into the water, and our team all crawled inside. When they rose to the top of the deck, instead of being greeted with flowers, they had guns pointed in their faces. Oh no, Ferric sighed. These are the infamous pirate princesses. Before them stood Princess Achio Sugata, a beauty to rival all others. Despite her missing left eye, the princess was still breathtaking. She wore an elaborate flower patterned kimono with a black bathing suit underneath. J-Par and Bantam stood silently entranced by her beauty and that of the other princesses. Each was a shining gem, as pretty as the most gorgeous actresses, models, and dancers. Princess Achio Sugata stood menacingly over them with her assault rifle. Quite a motley crew we have here, ladies, she shouted in a powerful voice to the heroes in the water from her high vantage point on the massive gleaming white cruise ship. Her silk blue robe fluttered in the breeze. Don't move unless you want to be shark meat, her remark now directed to the heroes as their voice sharpened. Please may we have safe passage aboard your vessel? Sabria asked with no hesitation in her voice. We only grant sanctuary to those that join our crew and work for us. You must swear allegiance to the Pirate Queen Major if you want to come aboard. We better do what they ask, right, fellas? Sabria whispered to the rest of our Golden Syndicate. At first, Ferric was hesitant, but he soon realized their predicament and sullenly nodded his head in agreement. The rest of them gave a nod as well. All right, we swear allegiance to Major. Sabria shouted back to Achio Sugata. Chapter 2, Love Jelena Joy Pembroke. The Order of Arcturus is an order of druids that maintain ecological homeostasis for the planet Alkaya. Elijah Pembroke and his wife Shylin were high elders of Arcturus. One day they had a set of twin girls and named them Juniper Jin and Jelena Joy Pembroke. Sharon and Shylin were behind on their loans for Skyrise greenhouses. An entertainment director, who was a mouse Manimal, gave them a proposal that they could not refuse. They were forced to sell one of their daughters to a corporation that ruled the entertainment industry. So they chose the younger daughter, Jelena. The corporation sent Jelena to the many-mile continent of Australia to work on a children's variety show. Jelena was forced to work grueling 12-hour days of singing, dancing, and acting lessons. The day finally came where Jelena got her first feature-length film about a young man that discovers a magical lamp with a genie inside. Her family was excited for her. They all flew out to Sydney for the premiere. This was the height of Jelena's career. The movie did well at the box office and was even nominated for some Academy Awards. Jelena was nominated for Best Female Actor. After losing the award, Jelena was crushed. She became disillusioned with the entertainment industry. After a while, her star power lost its luster. She was forced to work the entertainment corporation's cruise line. Back on board, our own Golden Syndicate was now captive to the pirate princesses. They were forced to do slave labor, including swabbing the deck, cleaning the rooms, cooking in the kitchen, performing in the shows, doing stand-up comedy and improv, singing karaoke, and DJing in the nightclubs. Sounds like a pretty rough life, right? One night while J-Par was DJing for the ship's nightclub, he saw the most beautiful glowing indigo aura that rivaled his own junipers. Who could it be than none other than Princess Jelena? She came up to him and requested a song. Excuse me, do you have relays? Frozen moment. J-Par was caught off guard. This was the first love song he had written about him in Juniper's first encounter. The chorus goes, over and over, that's how we get caught in the current. You pulled me through, lost in the moment. I'm falling for you more than you'll ever know. Whoa, whoa. Yes, I think I've got that one, J-Par said casually. Thank you so much, it's one of my favorites. Jelena said, smiling. You know I wrote that song. No way. Yes, my name is J-Par Prakari. I'm a part of Relay. Shut your mouth, Jelena exclaimed. I thought you looked familiar. I'm such a huge fan. What is your name? Jelena, Princess Jelena. No way. I loved you in that movie with the magic lamp. You really got robbed at the Oscars. J-Par burst into song. I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Oh my. Jelena blushed. Do you know I've only seen one other indigo aura as radiant as yours? J-Par gushed. Oh really, who was that? Jelena asked curiously. Her name was Juniper Jinpembra. Shut up. That's my twin sister. Get out of town. We dated for 4 years till she broke my heart and left me for the lead singer of Dressed for Genocide. She told me she dated a celebrity and had no clue it was you. Do you want to go topside and catch some fresh air? J-Par asked. Sure thing. Benjamin, oh boy, take over for me on the ones and twos. You got it, bruv. Benjamin said cheerfully. J-Par and Jelena left the crowded dance hall and made their way to the front of the ship. J-Par felt the familiar feelings of butterflies in his stomach. It had been a long time since he had felt them. He kept his composure and carefully asked, Are you happy here? Yes, I'm completely free from the corporate cash machine, and I can do whatever I want, go wherever I want, and love whoever I want. Your parents must be proud of you. They are. I see them every time we port in London. Do you know when we port in Japan? Yeah, we should be there in a couple weeks. Good, because that's when we need to jump ship. I am not sure if Meija would allow that. Why not? Once you're a part of the crew, you have to duel her if you want to leave. She's deadly with a blade. Yes, but so am I. You seem confident in your abilities. Let's just say I've been trained by the best. You mean to tell me you're some sort of secret agent or something like that? Well, I'm not really at liberty to divulge the nature of my business, but my intuition tells me I can trust you, and my intuition is never wrong. To answer your question, more or less yes. I'm a trained assassin for Kinetica. My relay is just a front so I can do my dirty work. And what is your dirty work? Slaying Repticons and Deceptiles. And what are Repticons and Deceptiles? Repticons and Deceptiles are shape-shifting, soul-stealing demons that keep our world in a constant state of fear and hatred. They feed off the negative fear vibration. They sound dreadful, Jelena said with a gasp. Believe me, they are. They're not from our world. They come from the Shadow Realm. Alkaya used to be a utopia before they came here. They are the offspring of the great shadow dragon Lucifer. They started the Great War that almost destroyed our planet. They have a general population enslaved without them realizing it. How do they do that? The Repticons' true form are giant red scaly demons. They consume the heart of their victim and assume its shape, gaining all of their memories and mannerisms. Repticons have infiltrated all aspects of our society. They invented government, religion, and the monetary system and all systems of control. They poisoned our food, our air with chemtrails, and our arable land with pesticides, and the blood of the shadow dragon you know as petroleum oil. How do you know they exist if you can't see them walking among us? All agents of Kinetica have specialized surgery that lets us see beyond their illusion and reveals their true form. Are there any aboard our ship? No, thankfully. My brother and I have already secured your vessel. You do have to be careful, though the Repticon eyes and ears are everywhere. They're probably monitoring this ship with their satellites. We've never been messed with in all the years we've been afloat. We mainly stick to international waters. Don't ever be lulled into a false sense of security. That's when they're most likely to strike. All these different nationalities, countries, and currencies is a farce to create competition and artificial boundaries between Alkayans. There is only one world government that rules it all. I don't understand how it got this way. So many people are oblivious to this and they think the way they live is normal and accept things the way they are. No one questions authority. The wage slaves continue riding on their hamster wheels. This all sounds rather bleak. What can we do to change things? Long ago, when all of Alkaya was almost overthrown by the Great Dragon and its Repticon horde, the ancient Alkayans created four suits of power infused with the elements called Empiros. They're symbiotic living artificial intelligence armor that conforms to the host. With the force of the Empiros, the ancient Alkayans wiped the Repticons from the surface of the planet, or so they thought. A few escaped and buried deep beneath the crust. The Empiros were unable to fully vanquish the Shadow Dragon, so they sealed it away in a diamond tomb deep within a volcano. The Repticons have been chipping away at it ever since. Hurricane, the Harbinger of Doom, their leader, masquerades as the President of the United States of Alkaya. It doesn't matter who was elected because he always steals the soul of the victor. What happened to the Empiros? The ancient Alkayans retired them to their elemental temples in the four corners of our world in case their power was ever needed again and to keep them from falling into the wrong hands. Forgive me, but this all sounds like a legend to me. I found it hard to believe at first as well. We've already obtained the Earth Empiro. My brother Bantam was selected as the host. I've witnessed its power and it's unfathomable. He has yet to unlock its true potential. I'm a bit of a skeptic. I guess I'll have to see it to believe it. Well, maybe he'll show it to you if you play your cards right. I hope so. I'm intrigued by your story. Do you have druidic abilities like your sister does? Yes, I do, but I focused more on the healing faculties rather than the shape-shifting abilities like she did. I don't really make my powers public knowledge, though. You've got a gift. Why hide it? I was gifted with the ability to see auras. That's how I saw you through the crowd, and you caught my eye. I can also shadow jump and turn invisible with cloaking technology. That's neither here nor there, though. I can't go giving all my secrets away. What? You can't tell me you have these powers and not prove it. Show me. All right, but don't go telling your shipmates. Let's keep this between you and me, okay? Okay, I promise. Japar walked backwards and disappeared into the shadows that were cast close to them. Jelena waited a moment, then went into the shadow after him. He was nowhere to be found. Puzzled, she walked back into the light and looked around. Japar had vanished without a trace. Okay, you can come out now. I believe you. Jelena said as she looked about frantically. She stared intently at the shadow Japar had disappeared into. She started to get worried. Then all of a sudden, two hands grabbed her shoulders from behind. Boo! Japar shouted. Jelena shrieked with fear. Oh my word, you scared me half to death. Jelena said as she playfully hit Japar in the shoulder. How on Alkaya did you do that? It's really quite simple. I was trained to convert the activated photons into a dark portal. I can jump from one shadow to the next in a 20-yard